श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे।
But it's detachment. And why? And clearly understand those messages. Why? The forest of material enjoyment.
Is it audible, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji.
It was audible, right? Yeah, thank you.
Chapter in the Bhagavatam is very revealing. 4th canto. But more simultaneously and more important is the connecting medium with the spiritual world. So, just like I was giving you this example of the research scientist saying, I know what is the happiness of a research scientist, but there's a happiness that I don't have, and I see that in all of you. Experience even one drop of that happiness. It takes away the attraction of so-called material enjoyment. Make your spiritual connection strong. And to make your spiritual connection strong, make sure you have your ABCs in good order. Like, what are the fundamental, foundational, core, essential components of tasting spiritual happiness? Just keep track of those things and nurture those things. Then you'll have a genuine taste, and that little drop of that genuine taste will be protection. Say the same, give a practical example of the same thing. Prabhupada would often say, look at my Western disciples. Their whole lives were made up of chasing after material enjoyment. And now, through the practice of Krishna consciousness, they've completely given that up. How is it possible? They must be experiencing something. Because if they weren't experiencing something, they'd be continuing to do those same things. But they're not doing those same things. Its protection comes from spiritual taste. Find happiness in the association with devotees, and that will protect one from the apparent attraction of becoming a research scientist, and the happiness of a research scientist, and enjoying the bounties that research creates, research and technology. Now, from that position of happiness, one may use those things. Sometimes Prabhupada would be challenged by materialists. You're using the products of material technology. And Prabhupada's reply is, we're using them, but we're not entangled in them. If they stopped, like, hit a wall, stopped, like, the petroleum runs out, the devotees are not going to be, flipped out. We can use those things, and if they're not there, we can do without those things. And that's how Prabhupada trained us. We should be completely satisfied with simple living. At the same time, we can step and be completely satisfied. At the same time, we can step into the complexity of material life and not be agitated. We can use those things in service to Krishna, just like Bhishma Dev. And when the signal comes, Krishna doesn't want this anymore, walk away from it. Use it, but not be controlled by it. And that's a delicate balance. It depends very much on one's core internal Krishna consciousness. Therefore, especially in the beginning, keep it simple. Real simple. And when you're, developing those who are students, developing your career, you're obliged to get involved in, complexity, because that's what it's all about. Just get real good at complexity, figuring it out, the push and pull of material complexity, and then you got a job. Technology. Wiggle this over here, that makes that move over there, and you know how to do it. You got a job. If something gets in the way and you wiggle over here, it doesn't wiggle over there, you know how to fix the problem. You got a better job. Unfortunately, Prabhupada explains, that kind of training is training people to be Sudras. And Sudra is very dependent upon their master. And masters are not often very kind. They're often very cruel. It's a nasty environment. So it's nice to have a career that's simple. But in this complex world, it's not always like that. So we can do those things in service to Krishna, and not more than that. Not, I want to be the best because it satisfies my ego to be the best. But according to necessity, and if there is some recognition for being good at something, it's just how to utilize that recognition in service to Krishna. Not, it's tricky business. You go into a land of minefields, you have to be very careful, because one can explode and you're finished. So be very careful. But the satisfaction of not being in the minefield, but being in a life of simplicity, that also needs to be cultivated. That's where the core spiritual activities of our Krishna conscious life give us real satisfaction, in the company of the devotees and serving the devotees that we're in the company of. When that satisfaction is there, the attraction for the glitter gold of plastic life I don't look at that as happiness. I feel great compassion for those who are immersed and think that that's happiness. I'd like to give them an opportunity to experience something else. And that's a challenge, because generally persons that are immersed in that, that's all in all. Not open to hear anything other. Okay, I think we'll end there. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. So we have ended the class of Maharaj till here, of which was about essence of spirituality in our life, right? So yeah, I mean, I'm audible, right? Okay. So if anyone want to, any of the devotees would like to share any, realizations or anything that they really liked, and they certain times, if you liked it and you have already implemented something like that, or you have questions, kindly share. Ashok Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji.
Krishna Prabhu.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Mataji. So how, like, what is the this one Mataji? Like, once we complete, no, we have to say, as Samkot Prabhu told, as a sequential way, or are we expecting that at the class level?
Prabhu, what I Shamkun Prabhu, you're there. It was told that tomorrow Sharbri Mataji would take it, no, Prabhu, that session.
Correct, correct, Mataji.
Yeah. Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thanks.
Yes, yes, Mataji. Nothing much from Mataji today, like so as we already know, sir. And today's the main key point I like is like make it simple. So don't be into complex mode. So whatever the recognition even we get or something, how can we utilize in Krishna consciousness to develop? So instead of and if we are entangled there means yeah we will be end there. So that point. So I wanted to implement this point also in my life. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you so much, Ashok Prabhu. Shweta Mataji, Hare Krishna Mataji. Mataji, would you like to share something, Mataji, from the all the sessions that we have heard till now from Essence of Spiritual?
Hare Krishna Mataji, Tanmay Pranam. Mataji, all the classes of Maharaj were like um, putting some nectar drops in the people who are actually dying. But the 2 points which probably I can say again is like one, what Maharaj was saying, that we should not be addicted to what we have today, whatever material things we have. So that is a big thing for us. I mean, even if we feel that we are not addicted, we don't know what the other life is, and we have the fear of unknown. So that is one thing definitely what we are. And yesterday in the class, Maharaj was saying that we have to realize that we are walking on the dead end. So the sooner we realize that we are walking on the dead end, it's better for us because we have to make a U-turn. And again, I mean, what I feel that the fear of unknown, the because in spite of knowing it's a dead end, we have walked on that path only, and we have to take a U-turn and we have to take a new path. So both the things are basically what how we have to do it, and it's really we should try our best to implement it, which at least for me, I'm saying that I am unable to do so far. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Thank you so much, Mataji, for sharing so beautifully. Lavanya Mataji, would you like to share something, Mataji, from the whole classes of
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Krishna Mataji?
But not today's Mataji, before
Yeah,
Mataji.
Mataji, sure.
Yeah. Spiritual life is not a technique, Mataji. It's like every day we are doing get up in the morning, doing chanting, eating. So it's not like it's not a mechanical process. It's a transforming process. It's we have to do it slowly. We have to understand why we came here. So we have to transform our mode into that, Mataji. That I understand spiritual life means. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna, for sharing. Yashashwini Mataji, would you like to share something? Hare Krishna, Vivek Prabhu, would you like to add your understanding or realization from the class?
Yes, ma'am. Hare Krishna, thank you. Yes, today Maharaj started with mentioning about keeping our fundamental strong in Krishna consciousness. Probably I missed yesterday's discussions. So maybe a question there is, so this fundamentals, Prabhu's and Mataji, so what exactly is Maharaj talking and how do we strengthen that? That is one. And regarding the lecture today, Maharaj was mentioning that there is, so this was from the background of the research scientist. Although he was doing so many things, he was still not, he was seeing the devotees being much happier than him. So here Maharaj says that whatever a research scientist does, there is something, even Maharaj mentioned specifically, that a drop of Krishna consciousness or a spiritual taste is better than a research scientist. So that is something for us to meditate upon. And then he gave a he expanded that by saying that Srila Prabhupada always gives this example that these Western disciples of his, they they are experiencing something, wherein these people were going after material objects, and they are in Krishna consciousness. They've converted to Krishna consciousness, so they're experiencing something. So it has to be better than what they were going after before. So therefore, there is something in Krishna consciousness which they are experiencing. So we have to try to do that. I mean, we have to experience that which they were also experiencing. So that's a long journey. And next, Maharaj spoke particularly about the material engagements. So this surely will not keep us completely satisfied. And Maharaj was gave a lot of emphasis that he's urging all of us to sort of experience Krishna consciousness more, keep our fundamentals strong. By doing so, this we'll enjoy definitely a higher taste. And this is something which Shamkun Prabhu can throw more light on. And one more thing is another point which again which Shamkun Prabhu, please give us some more clarity, is Maharaj mentioned is to have a simple job. Don't get into this complex jobs wherein we'll ultimately be serving some person, and which Maharaj mentioned about a Shudra kind of a job, wherein somebody would be masters and they'd not be nice to us, etc. So it's best to have a simple job. Now, again, the boundaries of a simple job, Prabhu, this will be good. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Vivek Prabhu, for sharing your realization. I'd just like to share, take just 1 minute and share what I actually liked the whole session of Maharaj class. For me, I really felt that I feel myself still, as a beginner. So I really felt good when Maharaj was talking about mode of goodness, right? So we assume that mode of goodness is something that even a religionist can do, right? He does it, but Maharaj has told that goodness is not actually enough. And one of the point where Maharaj was saying to actually connect to come out of this material desires, and come out of all the all the detachments, right? How significant it is to have the attachment with the Guru and Krishna, right? Because we always have to connect with Guru and Krishna, so that it actually helps in getting all the desires, the material desires that we have to take away, and we try to cultivate the spiritual desires in us, right? So uh, how actually we have to deal with both of them when we are practicing the Krishna consciousness. And one last point here, where we often see that whenever we see the people outside the outside, I don't know what the term should I use. I mean, basically out of ISKCON, right? When they say that you are you say material desire, but you are trying to consume everything, right? So how nicely Prabhupada has explained here that the products of material technology that he's using, that he's just saying that I'm just using it, but we're not entangling in them, right? So it was so nicely spoken by Srila Prabhupada. Yeah, thank you so much. Chandan Prabhu, you have a question? Please go ahead, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji and Prabhuji. I don't have a question, but I want to share one incident really happened, recently happened. I was listening one class in Temple and Whitefield. In Whitefield, one temple is being constructed. So there one Prabhuji had come and he was mentioning using mobile in improper way is kind of gambling of time. So it's a violation of four regulative principles, he told. He was mentioning multiple things, but yeah, most important is related to this class is using of mobile is improper ways, means wasting more time, giving more time on mobile things. It's a kind of gambling, and we should avoid this. Immediately, I got like message in a group. Harikshet Prabhuji is the leader of this ISKCON Whitefield. He told that I'm going to change my mobile. my access will be very, very limited to WhatsApp and all, only morning and evening. And I'm switching to feature phone. And like that, he is doing so. With this example, actually, we should learn also. Immediately, he came to know that this is something like this, and he like he was reluctant to use the mobile. He is using morning and evening. He is taking his messages and are replying. So we should also learn the same way. Maharaj is told that we, since we are living in this kind of condition, we cannot avoid it, but at the same time we should not also entangle with that. I think Maharaj was addressing some students. He told that you are students, you have to use this complexity, you have to learn, you have to get job, but we don't have to entangle. Rather, we should, if it is possible, we should use all those things from the for the pleasure of Krishna. And I'm very happy, like it's coming from our parampara. The spiritual master of Srila Prabhupada also told the same thing. So whatever it is there, we should all, even motor car and whatever it is, typewriter, everything, microphone, we should use, and we should use for the pleasure and for in the process of Krishna consciousness. So that one realization was there with me. I thought to share with you all. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you so much, Prabhu, for sharing that. Elaborating what Prabhupada said, that, whatever we do, it should be only in the service of Krishna. Krishna centric, right? And then I guess, we will be using the material products or technologies in a right way. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Shamkun Prabhu, Radhir Lalit Prabhu. Hand is raised.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yeah, just 2 points, like whatever Vivek Prabhu said, almost the same thing. The one thing which he told about the taste, or Maharaj mentioned about the taste. So, like when we, to motivate our own self, to chant every day, to read or hear every day, it's very important that we also strive for the taste. So, for example, yesterday I chanted very nicely. I heard the class very nicely. The taste I had. So I want to access the same taste even today also. So the taste which I received yesterday, that will motivate me to chant today even more nicely, or at least to chant today, and then hear Bhagavatam, etc. So today also I received some taste. That taste again I want to experience even tomorrow. So this will motivate me to chant even tomorrow. So every day, one should, or I should strive that I chant sincerely, I hear class carefully, the taste, because like many of the devotees, that every day they are hearing Maharaj class very attentively, so many years. Why? Because there is a taste in that. So when you experience the taste, then definitely we would like to continue more and more. Then it will not be mechanical. It will be more like, motivational to do all this, our daily sadhana. Coming to the simplicity part, yes, I also want Shamkund Prabhu to throw some light on this. With little bit of my understanding, is definitely our jobs are complex for most of the folks here in today's world. But even in this complex world, or the complex job, etc., we can cultivate the qualities of simplicity. Like we can conduct our own self with all simple spiritual principles, like sticking to the values, etc. So the environment, outside environment may be politics and all the complexity, but I can conduct myself with simplicity. That's some thoughts. We would like to hear from Prabhu as well.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. And thank you so much for sharing your thoughts on this. Hare Krishna Kumarika Mataji, kindly share your realizations and your understanding, Mataji, so that it will help all of us, Mataji. Krishna.
Hare Krishna. What I liked in Maharaj's class today is compassion. He said, I'm very compassionate to those people who are after that glittering plastic way of life, accumulating more and more, running after happiness in that. So the real Guru's compassion, just like Srila Prabhupada, his disciple also, how they are operating out of that mode of compassion. And it is very difficult to convince. Of course, he said it's an uphill task. And we unfortunate people for whom they are toiling so hard, we are not able to take it so well, understand it so easily. That was one thing. His character came through. And regarding Vivek Prabhu's, the strong foundation, fundamentals, definitely, as Dhirulath Prabhu already said, the best way that we can chant and hear. They are the fundamentals, and if we can do those two things attentively, then it'll, and whatever we do, like deity worship, everything with concentration and with an understanding of what we are doing, why we are doing that. So with our mind in that place, then that will be a strong boost to our experiencing that. Maharaj was telling that if you experience that spiritual happiness, then that will protect you from this material attraction. So to experience that spiritual happiness, our concentration and our presence of mind. And of course, so there are so many layers to it. Anukulya seva, sankalpa, pratikulya seva, varjanam will encompass everything. So a lot of things will go into it. That is one thing. In simplicity can be taken as two things. Simple way of life means not accumulating more and more and making it more complicated, that I want 2 houses or 3 cars or things like that. Material possessions, if we keep it simple, whatever is required, I'm only having. I will not go for more. That is one sort of simplicity. Another thing is being straightforward is also simplicity. From that point of view also, if we are speaking what we are feeling, and if we are doing, if there is an alignment between our heart and our goals and our actions, then that is also simplicity. Being so we are thinking something and saying something or doing something. If it doesn't align with each other, then that is going to be more complex and more difficult for us. That's all I know, Mataji.
Thank you so much, Mataji, for sharing so nicely. And certain times somewhere we just read it out and we are not able to understand, but you have so beautifully put that up, Mataji. Sulochana Mataji, would you like to share something, Mataji, from the whole session of Maharaj class?
No, Mataji, I joined late today, and earlier also I'm not attentive, Mataji. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Yeah, Hare Krishna Shamkun Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. There's something about what Vivek Prabhu said. I'd like to say something towards the end. And something about last week's class and yesterday's class too. Or what we heard for the same lecture, the previous week and also this week here. I think it was last Friday when we were discussing, and that in this lecture, there was a mention of sightseeing. And the way Maharaj said of sightseeing was that the moment we have an attraction to how would it be if I experience this and let me go there? Even a yogi can have that sightseeing feeling. It's not just sightseeing in terms of visiting places. It is in terms of experiences of this world. There's a new restaurant, let me go and eat it. There's a new apartment that's being constructed, let me go and live it, etc., etc. Or we may see something on the mobile phone, like how Chandan Prabhu was speaking, and others are experiencing this. I too want to experience it. This is the sightseeing program. And the sightseeing program comes definitely, like the way Maharaj said, it's from the curiosity standpoint. And what Maharaj said is, the soul can journey from the body, but if there's a desire for anything within this created realm, even just to check it out, I wonder what it's like. The devotee is devoid of that. And this is the pure devotee, or a devotee at the stage of Nishta, who is devoid of this desire to check out what is happening. And one can come to this stage only when has progressed really well. So that's the sightseeing aspect. That ties into the next aspect. How can a devotee come to that stage? Uh, Beginning is that for most people, and when I said it's most people, and also it's a significant component for most people, there is an intellectual understanding and appreciation of something that is being spoken. It seems like, yeah, it seems right. There may be a curiosity factor about spirituality. And whatever we discuss from the Bhagavad Gita, it seems to fit into the pieces what we want. So there's an intellectual satisfaction. Based on the intellectual satisfaction, most people develop certain habits. They're convinced that they have to let go of certain habits and they have to add certain habits. So, pratikulasya varchanam, what is not good, you leave it. And whatever is good, take it up. That's one thing. The unfortunate thing in this world, in the path of spirituality, is most people stay at max here. Very few people even come to the stage of appreciation of the message of the scripture. And even of those who do appreciate, most people stay at this theoretical level that, okay, the Shastra says this is right, I have to do it. Is it? And when I speak to many practitioners, not just the practitioners of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, across different streams, for most people, they do this, they just stay at these habits because they have never learned what it means to have a relationship with God or God's representatives. And that is why it is very important that what Maharaj was saying yesterday in the class, one has to develop affection. Affection is a very significant component. Without that, we cannot progress at all. Like yesterday, when we were discussing, Maharaj was saying, let's say surrender. We all have been speaking about surrender. Maharaj said, there's a ball of surrender. What does it look like? And Maharaj explained, what does surrender look like? When we have someone to whom we have great affection for, and they say, please turn off the fan. And because they say, we turn off the fan or turn off the light, something like that. In other words, to do something, there is no difficulty to do it if there is affection for the person. And this is a significant problem in the world today. Usually, a person who has received affection can know what affection looks like. In other words, if as a child you have been treated well by your parent, then most likely, even if somebody were to slightly give affection, yeah, this person is affectionate. That's why it is like this. He or she is speaking like this, doing something like this. In other words, affection doesn't mean that somebody has to hug us, somebody has to praise us, etc. When we see our parents affectionate to us, we see that, man, in spite of all their struggles, they are putting that idli into my tiffin box, or they're making the tiffin box for me for school as such. My mother was unwell, and it's not just because of duty. She tried that she knows that I like, say, some particular item, and in spite of she not being well, she made that particular item so that I can eat nicely in school. And when we recognize that, the moment when we grow up as an adult, When somebody sacrifices their time, their effort for us, we recognize there is affection there. And we also know how to give affection. That's a very key component. For lack of affection, what happens to people generally is, or let me step back. When one receives affection, then one is being seen by others, like one's parents, one's friends, or somebody like that. One is seen by somebody. But when there is lack of affection, one tries to be seen by others, because one is not seen by those persons to who have affection for us. We are yearning for that affection, and that's how all this entire what you call behavioral pattern of wanting to be great, wanting to show to others, I have arrived. All of these things come up. And sometimes it also goes in the form of matsarya, enviousness. How come somebody else is receiving it? I should also receive it. In other words, the lack of affection breeds enviousness. And sometimes we don't do it explicitly. We do it in the past, like a passive aggression. We have this passive enviousness. Oh yeah, you're so great, you're so good. I can't do anything like this. Because when we start saying things like that, it means I am at the center. I am comparing myself with you. When I'm speaking about you, why should I have anything about me at all? It could be, hey, you did this nice job. And when you did this, I like this part of it, that part of it. Why should there be a comparison? I can't do it at all. It's a symptom of we seeking attention this way or that way, in many cases. In some cases, it becomes very genuine. That's for a very advanced person. I wish I can do like that. Let me serve you. That's an advanced person. I'm just talking about most general persons here. So this, when one has affection, Maharaj also said here, there are things that can enhance surrender. When we have affection, it is easy to surrender. That's what Maharaj said yesterday. And there's another important component of surrender, that which is humility. And Maharaj said humility is seen like when we come in front of a deity or a big photo picture, we bow down. We are taught to pay obeisance. And when we pay obeisance, we express our dependence on the Supreme Lord. So, along with affection, dependence is important. Now, for Kali Yuga folks, it is nice to come in front of a deity and have affection for a deity and have dependence. But you should also have a living person. So, commonly, when the word guru is considered, have affection for the guru, have dependence for the guru, we should consider, am I having a relationship with my guru like how Arjuna had with Dronacharya, or is it the way Ekalavya had with Dronacharya? In the case of Arjuna with Drona, he would ask Drona what to do, and he would also observe what Drona likes, and he used to do the same way. In the case of Ekalavya, he felt that, okay, I have observed Dronacharya doing something, and he will mimic it, he will imitate it. And he imitated it multiple times, and he received perfection. He was, of course, skilled. There is no doubt about his capabilities, the capabilities of Ekalavya. And because he was also the son of the Nishad Raja, he was the son of a great a king of the hunters. So he didn't come from an ordinary background as such. He had his own um, certificate credentials too. But the problem is there was no dependence in Ekalavya. And that is why it is important that when one has to understand the context in which the Shastra says the Guru. The context in which the Shastra says the Guru is definitely somebody who gives instructions. Yes. Definitely somebody who gives us mantra. True. But it is also somebody who can observe us and point out this is what you're doing right, you're doing wrong. And sometimes when we are not in the midst of immediately in the midst of that person, it behooves us to honestly go and tell. I mean, with a sense of objectivity, that I was in this situation, others did this, I felt this, I did it. So one has to be a little objective. Usually people portray themselves in a very good way. one should be ready to portray oneself also as saying, I'm a man of limitations or a woman of limitations, and I need you to help me what to do. And dependence is also in the form that when I do an activity, I recognize how is it that other person or that other devotee or the guru, what would they have done here? How, so let me follow them in their footsteps, or they have their instruction. Let me just try to follow that principle that they say. So these two things, affection and dependence as an expression of humility, are very important. When these two are present, one becomes accountable. And these are important features which help us to progress. I'll come back again to this affection part. Now, well, I just said that when somebody has a lack of, when they have not received any affection, how does it happen? Like as a child, many of us, we were born in families which had just like a hand to mouth existence, or not enough money. And so we were often told, if you study well, only then you'll get a good job. If you get good job, you'll get good money. If you get good money, then you'll be happy. Look at us, we don't have enough money. You need to do all of these things. Something like that. That was a generation of the 80s and the 90s in India. In other words, people were not made to feel special. People were made to, or children were not made to feel special. Children were uh, told either you're especially for girl children, you are a girl, your happiness is only going to get married to a boy or some man. You're meant for somebody else. So there is no innate value for the girl, or even for a man. You have to just go and earn money in terms of what you do. So in the common world outside, when a person uh, doesn't feel satisfaction inside because he or she has not received it from others, there are mm, worldly ways in which a person can be helped here. It's helpful. I'm going to just mention them. But I want to go one step beyond that also, which is like for a person who lacks confidence, who lacks empathy, who lacks being had that affection from others, make them feel special. So one way is you can sincerely compliment such a person if you ever find them. And most people, they want a better tomorrow. So what do? You show them hope. Or sometimes they want direction. So maybe you can go navigate for them. Or sometimes they get low very emotionally. Then what do? We can encourage them. And sometimes they want success. We can help them win. But what happens here is while doing this, when like say if you find somebody like that to whom you sincerely compliment, to whom you show some hope, you navigate something for them, etc., navigate in their life saying, hey, you can try these things, why don't you try this way, etc., you try all of that. But at one point in time, the receiver, whoever is receiving it, has to know an aspect, which is a relationship with a guide, a relationship with a guru, a relationship with a friend is not a one way relationship, which is, I am at the receiving end. A person who's always at the receiving end is called a parasite. Relationships flourish when there is a give and take. Somebody gives to us, we also give something to them. And and giving is not necessarily in terms of volume. They spend 10 hours, I will spend also 10 hours. Somebody may just spend 2 minutes with us, but if our heart is open, we will recognize the value and we should be ready to even spend 20 years for that 2 minutes. Just like how Srila Rumpad Maharaj, uh, he got 10 times in which he met Srila Prabhupada, and each of that is probably 1 hour. So he spent 10 hours with Prabhupada, approximately, maybe 15 hours. And of the 15 hours, for that 15 hours, he's been working for 50 years. That's that's the nature of a person whose heart is filled with affection. Okay. So that was one main thing. The second thing is a question which Vivek Prabhu said, following what Maharaj told today, and which Kumarika Mataji also spoke about. I want to add one more perspective to that part. The point which Maharaj was saying here is, it's nice to have a career that's simple, but in the complex world, it's not always like that. So um, there is the simplicity. Before we take up the simplicity in a job, first one has to have simplicity in one's heart. And that is done by whatever I said a few minutes ago. Let us build that affection. That when there is this affection, then one can um, take on habits as what some other devotees say and give up some unwanted habits. Let that happen first before changing too much in the external world, or too much, especially when I'm talking the external world. It's about the job situation. Why am I saying that? Although Maharaj said it this way, I may be wrong here, but this has been my perception, and others can take it as they deem it appropriate. What I have found so far is people are of various hues, or people are of various types as such. Their mental makeup is different. Some people, uh, or like for most people, they want to be valued. They want to feel affection, they want to feel valued. Somehow the workplace does give a person a facility to feel valued by doing something. When a person gives up the workplace and say, I want a simple job, etc., what happens is sometimes the person feels, I am capable of much more, but for the sake of Krishna, I'm taking up a much simpler job. And when the person has not gone deep in the relationship with their guru, with some devotees, etc., they still feel the lack of accomplishment. And how do they do it? They come back and try to get that sense of accomplishment with their spouse, with their friend circle, either aggressively or just passively. Either ways, they're trying to do it. Like passive way here is they just do something and expect people to say, "Yeah, you did a good job." They're waiting for that appreciation from somebody. So what has happened actually? It is just that you have transferred the attachment to receive or to be at the center from the workplace to the community of the people whom we interact with. So one is not ready as yet at that stage. Second is, there is also a kind of people who who like, I mean, who are especially attracted to the scriptural statements which says do less in the world, but they also don't do more for God. In other words, there is lethargy. There is physical lethargy, there is mental lethargy, and there is even emotional lethargy. And for such people, when we, at the beginning itself, when we say this, it just adds on more that let me do nothing, let me just be the enjoyer. So rather than the spirit of service, we are just adding fuel to the spirit of enjoyment. So even for such persons, we should be careful. But for a person who has gone deep in the relationship with the guru and the guru's representative, and very importantly, they have found services connected to Krishna by which they feel there is so much to do and they don't have time to do. I need more time to do the services. Such a person can simplify the pursuit of wealth and comfort and then take up other services. That is the long answer to everything, Vivek.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. And so with this, we will conclude this session. Vancha kalpatrubhyascha kripa sindhubhyo patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namo. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you so much, sir, everyone, for joining this session. We'll again meet tomorrow. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.